In addition, labor demand has declined, and so the unemployment rate has gone down, meaning that demand for workers has gone down a little more than supply.
With ABC News, what is your explanation for why the job market is weakening right now, and what will this rate cut do to improve the job market?
So I think there are two things affecting the job market, and one of them is just a dramatic reduction in the supply of new workers. And that's two things. That's declining labor force participation, which is a cyclical thing, and then there's declining immigration, which is just a big policy change that actually began in the last administration and it has been accelerated now. So a big part of the whole story is that supply side story. Okay. In addition, labor demand has declined, and the unemployment rate has gone down, meaning that demand for workers has gone down a little more than supply. So that's what's going on, but it is mostly a supply function. It's mostly a function of the change in supply, I think, and many people think. So the question then is, what does our tool do, which supports demand, and I would just say, when you're in a situation where job creation, if you adjust for likely overcounting in the way that BLS does its work, is pretty close to zero. So maximum employment doesn't, on a sustainable basis, if you're creating zero jobs, if it's in equilibrium, if it's in balance, it's a pretty, as I said before, a pretty curious balance. So, I thought, and many of my colleagues thought, in fact, you've seen the last two meetings, that it was appropriate for us to react by supporting demand with our rates. And we've done that. We've reduced so that rates are looser. I wouldn't say that they're accommodative right now, but they're meaningfully less tight than they were. And that should help so that at least the labor market doesn't get worse. So it's a complicated situation, and some people argue that this is supply, and we really can't affect it much with our tools. But others argue, as I do, that there is an effect from demand, and that we should use our tools to support the labor market when we see this happening.